When we think of rebellions in Tudor England, we tend to think of doomed uprisings. People rising up, getting squashed, and winding up with their heads on spikes. That's like the usual story arc: protest, punishment, and propaganda. But in 1525, something very odd happened. A rebellion actually worked. No one marched on London, but it forced Henry VIII to back down publicly. And it also marks the beginning of the end for Cardinal Wolsey's iron grip on power. So grab your cup of coffee or your bottle of water and settle in. This is the story of the Amicable Grant, a tax that wasn't really a tax, a rebellion that didn't look like a rebellion, and a moment when people, ordinary working people, said no. And the king actually listened. Let's set the stage. Hey, friend, welcome back to the YouTube channel for the Renaissance English History Podcast. I am your host, Heather. I've been podcasting on Tudor England since 2009 with my show, which makes it the original Tudor History Podcast. I am delighted that you are here with me today, and we are going to talk about the Amicable Grant. So let's get right into it. It is early 1525, and Henry VIII is in one of his "I'm going to be the most glorious king in Christendom" sorts of phases. His ally, Charles V, has just captured Francis I of France at the Battle of Pavia. Henry sees this as the perfect moment to swoop in, conquer French territory, and maybe even have himself crowned King of France. That might be fun. Or at least be crowned Holy Roman Emperor, because, sure, that seems totally realistic. But of course, campaigning costs money, a lot of money. And Henry's war fund was already running on fumes. Enter Cardinal Wolsey. Wolsey, in a move that would come back to bite him, promised Henry that he could raise the funds without calling Parliament, which is what you normally had to do when you were a king. You had to go through Parliament and get bills passed and debate. So there was not going to be any reason to do all of this. You didn't have to deal with pesky elected officials. You could just ask for a voluntary gift from the king's subjects, or a gift that wasn't actually voluntary. The Amicable Grant was supposedly a free will offering, but when the king's agents show up at your door with a quill and a very official-looking form, you're probably going to feel pretty encouraged, especially when they suggest the actual amount that they would like for you to voluntarily give. Even worse, this was coming on the heels of two other very big taxes, one in 1523 and another forced loan in 1522. People had nothing left to give, and they were done about being nice about it. By April, murmurs of discontent had turned into something much louder. Towns across East Anglia, especially Lavenham and Suffolk, flat out refused to pay. We're talking thousands of people openly defying royal officials. Bakers, tailors, butchers, candlestick makers, even members of the clergy. This wasn't a mob with pitchforks. There was no marching army, but it was a wall of quiet, stubborn resistance that the crown was not able to breach. Some of the king's commissioners were chased out of towns. Others were threatened. It became clear that enforcing the grant could turn violent, and there was little appetite for suppressing it by force. Even local nobles and justices were reluctant to punish their own neighbors. No one wanted to risk outright revolt over a tax that, let's be honest, nobody had agreed to in the first place. By late April, the situation had escalated to the point where Henry had to be told the truth. This wasn't just a few angry townsfolk. This was widespread, coordinated refusal. And for the king, famously not a fan of backing down, well, he had to do exactly that. Henry was not used to hearing the word no, and he wasn't really used to being defied by his own subjects. But the refusal to pay the Amicable Grant wasn't this fringe rebellion, like we said. It was wide, it was coordinated, it was entirely nonviolent, and that made it harder to crack down on. There were no ringleaders to arrest, no castles to besiege, no bodies to hang from city gates. And worst of all, for Henry at least, there was sympathy. The people weren't just refusing out of greed. They were broke. They'd already given. This new demand felt like insult piled on top of injury. So in May of 1525, Henry did something extraordinary for Henry. He canceled it. The Amicable Grant was just quietly dropped. The rebels were pardoned. No executions, no brutal repression, no nasty aftermath. The king just, walked it back, which in Tudor England was pretty unheard of. That's not to say Henry was happy about it. He was furious, and someone had to take the blame. That someone, of course, was Cardinal Wolsey. The Cardinal had promised him the money. He had assured Henry it could be raised without Parliament. And now not only was the money gone, but so was the illusion that Wolsey could control everything. Henry began to doubt his most trusted advisor, and the cracks in their relationship were starting to show. This didn't bring Wolsey down overnight. He still had a few good years of scheming left. But this was the first major blow. His image as this all-powerful cardinal who could make anything happen by magic took a major hit. And in a court that ran on perception and favor, that really mattered. Wolsey, of course, would eventually fall spectacularly in 1529 when he failed to secure Henry's divorce from Catherine. But there were actually seeds, pretty big seeds planted here in this tax that wasn't a tax, a rebellion that wasn't a rebellion. Before we get into why this mattered so much, I also want to quickly let you know about something that is very much in the spirit of digging into juicy Tudor history from the comfort of your own home. If you've missed my talking about it, Tudor Con is in October. We still do have a couple of in-person tickets left, about 10. It's in Agecroft Hall in Richmond. It's an actual Tudor home that was brought from Lancashire brick by brick. So October 3rd through 5th at Agecroft Hall in Richmond, you can come in person. But if you can't come in person, you can also come online. It's a full weekend of talks, trivia, entertainment, games, general Tudor nerdery, huge community of other Tudor nerds from around the world, and you can join live from anywhere around the world as well. The tickets are $49, but I'm running an early bird special right now, and you can save $15 with the coupon early bird when you go to englandcast.com/TudorCon from home to claim your ticket and join us online this fall. So if you want to spend the weekend nerding out with other Tudor lovers from all over the place, making a lot of Anne Boleyn references, TudorCon is your spot. You can come, like I said, either in person or online. englandcast.com/TudorCon to come in person, englandcast.com/TudorCon from home to claim your online spot and use the code EARLYBIRD to save $15. Back to the story. The Amicable Grant Rebellion mattered, not just because it worked, but because it showed that Henry's power had limits. Yes, he was a Renaissance monarch. He was supposedly divinely ordained, but push people too far, especially when their wallets are empty, and he still had to yield. It also showed that the myth of Wolsey's invincibility wasn't real. He could be challenged, he could be blamed, and eventually he could also be replaced. It's one of those rare moments in Tudor history when the people didn't lose and the consequences made it all the way to the king. So there we have it, my friend, a little bit about the Amicable Grant and Wolsey's first cracks of power. Let me know what you thought about it. Would you have rebelled against Henry when Henry asked for a voluntary gift? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. All right, if you made it this far, my friend, and you enjoyed this video, I sure would appreciate a press that like button. You know what it does. It feeds that algorithm and gets our content to even more people. And I hope I earned your subscription to my channel where I put out videos like this on the regular. If you would like to keep watching Tudor Rebellion stories, here is an episode I did on Tudor rebellions you might enjoy, or here's one that YouTube thinks you'll like. All right, my friend, thank you so much for being with me here today. Remember, you are deeply loved. I'm so glad I share the planet with you. You make the planet a better place. I'm glad we're here together. I will be back very, very soon. In the meantime, don't forget to drink your water, friend.